What's up, everybody? It's Sugar Erica from the Classic Clan blog. I always tell y'all I'm gonna make it to the office to record a video, but the office be way, way over there, and I'll be way somewhere else, or I'm looking at land. Um, if you're inside the paid traffic YouTube side, we got a land video coming tomorrow. Well, yeah, coming tomorrow before I go to a birthday, a baby shower, and I'm gonna just record it probably and then sit it in there. There's like a bunch of land deals right now. And literally, the dude's taking $400 down, payments over 15 years. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get in there, and then I'm gonna get the hard money lender to pay that off, and then I'm gonna start building. So I want to, how to get some land for $400. Do that. Come watch that on Sunday with me, if you are in the paid traffic side. So, anyways, and how do you join the paid traffic side? People get mad. I'm saying, listen, it literally says join instead of subscribe. It'll be right beside the subscribe button where it usually would be. So let's kick this off. 1980s is cash money culture. Books you're seeing, things you're seeing. Again, the pendulum always swings left, then swings right. And I want you to understand that. That is always, if you study any marketing books, you study any finance, microeconomics. I'm speaking on microeconomics in Panama City, Panama, July 5th with the Scale It Up Summit. I want you to understand the pendulum always swings back and forth. And if you look back at talk radio, you look back at internet, you had these independent radio stations all over the place with micro audiences that were so captivating that big audiences tried to get a hold of them, get hold of that conversation they're having. And so that's what's happening again with social media, going back and forth between TV. Now, if you see the thumbnail, I didn't put the original thumbnail up, which we had, and this is for the people in the comment section on the community wall, the Old Man Show on Hulu. Right? Where this dude's 70 years old, but he's a CIA agent. He's so rough and tough. He's fighting. He's rumbling. He's tumbling. He's stabbing. Now, I had to stop back. I said, oh, yeah, that's a trend. Like, y'all, I be literally deep in like study and writing books right now for a season. I'm in a different season right now as far as business for me. But I literally stopped and I said, let me get a sheet of paper. Top Gun just beat everybody out of the box office. It was clear winners, clear losers. They didn't say Russia, but we all knew who they were trying to say, right? And even with the China pushing back saying, hey, you can't have Taiwan on the jacket. Well, Taiwan has always been on the jacket. The military will support that, right? So that was a plus, right? Then you have Yellowstone, top #1 TV show in America right now. Stranger Things, and I'm going to pull it in why. 1883 was high ranking. Longmire, Blue Bloods, old man. Now, 1883 had the focus as the daughter's perspective. Now, this is what companies are realizing. The audience that has money and is watching TV and is spending money is 35 to 70 years old. No problem. Guess what, you guys? Also, I'll go into that in a second. They have no problem spending with TV. Now, the TV execs are like, how do I get young people in on this? And old people. I want the old people's money, the old people who are going to stay home and watch this. I want their money, but I also want young people to pop on social media and talk about this. So you see, like 1883 had the perspective from the daughter, but she died. And it was about the family going on, right? Then you have Longmire, where his daughter and the younger people in the show, they're in the show, but the show is about the 60, 70-year-old cop who runs the town, and everybody is always fighting. Everything is always about how do we keep our way of life? Right? How do we keep our way of life? Fighting to keep the consistency of our way of life. Blue Bloods. This show's been going on for 10 years. They tried to make it about the dude from Funky Bunch, Marky Mark, whatever, not Marky Mark, but the other dude's brother. Nobody cares about the younger people. Like, they're important to the show, but it's about the grandpa and the dad and how they face challenges as the world's changing and they're older and the rules are this, but they gotta sometimes be in the gray. Okay, another one, Stranger Things. Everybody says, oh, the adult part of Stranger Things is boring, but it's not, right? Stranger Things is placed in the 1980s. Again, 1980s is cash culture. Y'all, I have a book coming out. I'm trying to get y'all to understand, like, the old man movie where the guy's 70, he was in Afghanistan fighting when Afghanistan were the good guys fighting against Russians had been there for 20 years, assaulting Afghanistan women and beating up people and doing ridiculousness. Not that Americans didn't do the same when we got there for 20 years, but people don't understand history. But who understands history? People 50 to 75 years old that are watching that show and are like, yeah, what Liam Neeson movies keep coming out. They're always shocked that Liam Neeson movies do so well. And I'm saying Liam Neeson's. because the age demographic, it's who has money. Okay. So the Longmire, the Blue Blood show, the Old Man show, the Yellowstone, Kevin Costner out there. Even movies with what's his name? So Clint Eastwood be in movies, be 92 years old, just bones, right? And they got him in movies because that's where the money is. The under 35 audience, yes. And here's the American issue and the problem. In America, we're hyper focused on 18 to 24 years old. Every time, what are the 18 to 24 years old? What are they doing? Where are they going? What colleges are they going to? Nobody cares. They don't have any money. We're going into recession. Nobody ends up caring about those people. They care about the people who are home buyers, people who have money, people who are making purchases. And I can prove it. I can show you how the pendulum swings back to those folks always. America's the only place that hyper focuses on young people, so much so that you got men here on YouTube talking about 15-year-olds when you have a sea of women, millions of women that are 25 to 27. You have millions, 25 to 27. But you see, these folks are only focusing on 15 to 17-year-olds. Why? One, they pervy, and two, they're somehow stuck. They can't even communicate to 25-year-olds. If somebody's 60 and somebody's 25, that's a 40-year gap. But they can't even communicate to those people. So they got to predatorize even younger. And it's a part of our American culture, our obsession with youth, our obsession with it. Right? There you go. Listen. Okay, first, let me hit this up. Congrats on the Zapier commercial. Guess what? I'm going to be in a second Zapier commercial. And I'm going to make sure you guys see it. They loved it so much. It tested so well. I'm actually going to be in a second Zapier commercial. So just giving y'all that help. That's why I'm pivoting a little bit what I'm doing. And I'll tell people offline. I'll probably tell the Ride 20% when we do a class or whatever, but I'm massively pivoting. And there's a reason why. I'm going to do TV commercials and I'm writing some books and I'm trying to go on like Daily Wire and some other shows. I'm not going to, again, the pivot is happening. Are you guys paying attention? Are you guys ready for the pivot for your own lives? So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Exactly. They got this movie that has this commercial called Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It's terrible. She's like, you're triggering me. And I don't know if they're making fun of the Gen Zs or not, right? I can't tell. So part of why I'm bringing this up is so many people are not paying attention to what is happening when people are pivoting. Exactly. All the shows, all the companies are realizing these young people don't got no money. They living with their parents. They're crying about their issues. They have no money. We can't make money here. Where can we make money? Now, prime example, someone said, well, TikTok, and they showed the data, TikTok overtook YouTube. What's funny is I posted it from the guy, and he literally says, well, people don't have time for long-winded things. This dude writes articles. This dude just got, and I like him. I like his story. He used to be a delivery truck driver and he started writing articles, makes lots of money from the stimmy money business years. And so now he's writing articles. He's writing 27 articles. Dude's half black, writing for black articles. It's insane. But anyway, his grandchildren look like Lamar Ball, and his children like Lamar Ball's grandchildren. White. But anyway, and so he's writing for these black magazines. I'm like, what? And so he's complaining and saying, look how cool TikTok is. And I'm like, dude, no one cares. If they cannot make the money off TikTok, they do not care. There's a reason these companies are advertising on Facebook. They're advertising on YouTube. They're advertising on TV and late night infomercials. Okay? Because that's where the money is. The money is not with under 35-year-olds. It's just not. It's just not. And this is something the other day I was talking to somebody, and I'm going to go deeper into the 1980s and housing and services. Felix was talking about, Dallas doesn't look jumping, right? I was like, jumping. And I was thinking about it, and I know what he was saying. And I looked at it from a young person's perspective. And I want you to understand with the economy that we're in right now, there will only be 5 major cities that are jumping in America. That I'm like, it's always a party. It's always a party. That shit's gone because under 30 don't have no money. They didn't choose certain careers. They didn't choose certain things. They don't have any money. So let me tell you the 5, okay? Miami, Atlanta, New York City. I know, I'm just telling you, New York City. Go on Instagram right now. Look at people in New York City random partying. Las Vegas, Nashville, Houston. Now, 5 years ago, maybe about a good 5 years ago, it was Chicago, Denver, Colorado. It was DC. It was Boston. It was LA, right? It swing from that. How do I know? I'm watching so many people who have conferences that were in LA. They're failing massively. No one wants to come. Some of it's the pandemic stuff. Some of it's the politics there. That's why they don't understand. They're like, but it's California, the weather. They don't care. Nobody cares about the daggone weather. What happens is these conferences are now going, hey, we got an East Coast conference. We got a Texas conference. We got a Carolinas conference. They just did the most massive size multifamily conference that cost $2,000 to go to it in Charlotte, North Carolina. And why am I bringing that up? Because where is the money? The money is on the Southeast. Period. Southeast. It's the Southeast. Listen, as much as the digital real estate is popping and all that stuff, and there's a lot of money with young people, it's not as much as you think. It's not as much as you think. Now, are there a bunch of outliers of 25, 30-year-old people making some good money? Sure, but not massively. The average person I see under 32 is working Starbucks, working Home Depot, working somewhere, and they're complaining about it, and they're miserable, and yada, yada, yada. It's not making the money, right? And the past 2 years, what you saw was stunt culture. You saw a bunch of young people get STEMI money, students, right? So let me just be very clear. I don't watch, and this is for good reason. I don't dictate my business moves off younger audiences. I watch what the guys who are selling $2,000 courses are doing. I watch what the guys who are selling $10,000 courses are doing. They're completely changing their business model. I'm watching Grant Cardone do a whole 180. He's calming down the image. He's getting away from the young people goofiness. He's starting to wear all black in his videos and talk about how to, get yourself ready for retirement and all this other stuff. Before he was talking about, he had the Young Hustler show, trying to get the young people to pop them up on the internet, but he realized he did a switch. Now you can see Grant Cardone is doing conferences only for service businesses, only for HVAC providers, only for construction owners, only for roofers, only for guys with this type of business. Why are they doing that? That's where the real money is. All this chasing the young people and the stunting culture and the cars, that's done. That's done. That's done. When Atlanta just said we're going to close down 1,000 Airbnbs, and only if you own the property can you keep stunting like that, and that means you got to own the house, not the apartment. You got to own the house. Who owns houses? People over 35. It's not the young folks. When you start seeing all these wholesalers all of a sudden have to change their business model to building new construction, or even Nick Perry, who does 7 figures, 7, 8 figures, they're huge. They've got hundreds, maybe like 25 properties that they're rehabbing. Why would a wholesaler be having to rehab? Well, Erica, you got to have multiple exit strategies. No, because old money is like, yeah, that property's not worth it. I don't care what you wholesaled it for. It's not worth it. I'm going to do a video later tonight and show you guys how in Austin, Texas, you have hundreds of homes dropping $50,000. The prices was already out of control. They were not realistic prices. It's not a crash. It's an adjustment, right? Because you can go to San Antonio, which ain't nothing going on down there, and get a brand new house for $220. Same house here in Austin is going to be $550, $600. They realize that doesn't make sense. We don't have enough people for that. So now they're coming back down about $450. And this is something I told people. And people like, see it crash. No, $450 is still got a bunch of people not going to be able to buy it. But who is that? Who are they focusing on? They're focusing on the older couple that 35 to 70, they got kids. They don't want to be in the apartments. They're tired of walking up and down the stairs. I promise you, it's the young people with money. It's not true. The numbers aren't there. And even if they were e-com millionaires and Torino millionaires or Airbnb millionaires, the market has pivoted. I am telling you, because I'm on so many email lists, it's ridiculous. Poor interns have to read some of this stuff, and we grab information on the marketplace from it. They're pivoting hard. And even all the guys that have $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 classes, when they used to shun affiliate marketing because they ran ads, now they're doubling down on like, hey, you guys, we do affiliates. If you get us a student or a client, we'll pay you $2,000. We'll pay you $2,000 affiliate. I'm like, whoa, you sell a $10,000 course and you're going to pay me $2,000 of it? No, not you guys that had $10,000 courses and you've been running ads for 3 years. If the market is running dry for them, I know it's running dry. Todd Million, a lot of people can show you where they sell a bunch of $19, $20 courses. Sure, that's fine. You can send a bunch of that. That's fine. That's fine. That's not a wave mover. It's just not. Real wave movers are people selling these $2,000 and $10,000 courses. And I told y'all before a month ago and then recently, you're going to see conferences and seminars and events come back in style. Heavy. Because they're not aiming at young people anymore. They're aiming at 35 and 70 who maybe they finally got some money. Maybe they're finally figuring out what they want to do. They're older in life. They're getting an awakening. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff. I promise you, the switch is here. And that's why they're talking about, well, you want to buy a business from a business owner that's a baby boomer? Why? Because baby boomers are going to sit into a business. They got the patience and they got the reserves. If business is not doing well, you see how many people fold. Oh, I just can't do it. I got to fold. Oh, I don't have enough reserves. I got to fold. Older folks have reserves and they went through tough times before. So if they got to be the only person sitting at their business every day for the next year, they'll do it. See, a younger person like, nah, I got to get out in these streets. I got to travel. I got to fly. I got to chase these women. An older dude's like, I'll keep my business. There are several of these businesses out here that I think are half dead. I go in them. It's some 40-something, 50-year-old person, and they're like, hey, how you doing? How can I help you? They got resolve that young people don't have. And I know I'm talking about a minute. I'm trying to slow down. But I get so excited. And I got ADHD. So it's like, oh, I got to tell you about this. So what are the areas that they're changing, right? We saw this show, Old Man. He's 7 years old. He's kicking, fighting, punching. There is something to be said if you have certain type of skills, Liam Neeson, all that, you use it to your ability. There's even part of the show where he knew he could not out-muscle this young guy, so he jumped and leaned back. So what was he using? He was using the leverage of his body weight. But he was also using his mind that when he traveled, he said, well, hey, listen, let me do this for you. Let me give you some money. Here's some cash money. You will always get people with cash money. You always get like, hey, man, listen, let me give you some cash. Let's smooth this out. Let me give you some cash. It changes the conversation. It just does. Okay. So I'm gonna read this right here. That boy Robin, I watched live TV yesterday, and all the store shows and commercials are towards an older, richer demographic. Yeah, all the testosterone shots, all the infomercials, everything is like how to make your money last, how to spread your money out. Like all this stuff is not towards young people. Now you say, well, young people aren't watching TV, Erica. Okay, but they're watching TikTok and they're on Twitter. But guess what? 90% of the tweets come from less than 3% of people. So Twitter is a non-starter. It doesn't make anybody any money. Now, can you take your tweets and put them on Instagram and Facebook and show people what you're talking about on Twitter? Yes, that does happen. Supersize number like, well, it's the news. For us who actually put news in our phone and actually look at the news, we already know the news. We don't need Twitter to come say, hey, you, did you see this news? No, Twitter's like a public forum for slow folks. Oh, what's happening? It's like every 2 minutes, they're like a goldfish. What's happening? Who? What? So I don't do it. I don't do it. It's a waste. It's a waste. Sorry. It just is. So housing, services, telehealth. I remember sitting in an event at the Cardone Ventures event, and this guy had a telehealth company. And the problem was not that it was an amazing idea, amazing platform. They didn't have enough doctors. They didn't have enough nurses. And they were saying they were hoping with the pandemic, more people would leave the office job and come here. I said, listen, a lot of these older folks, they're not leaving something guaranteed for a new industry, right? Now, when I go get my IV treatments, where I get the IV in the arm to kind of bring you back to life, juice you back up, they have that nurse that's there. Either she's there in person or she is on a telehealth screen where she asks you questions, make sure you're okay, yada, yada, yada. So telehealth is going to be huge. Housing. There are several places out here they're building in Austin, outside of Georgetown, that are 55 and up and plus. Why? They were tired of the young people not picking up the dogs, cleaning up after themselves, etc., etc. Marketing companies. I mean, again, conferences, it's coming. So let me read some of y'all comments, but I want y'all to understand, like, the pivot, right? I don't know if you remember 1980s. I was a baby, but Gordon Gekko, greed is good. So Wall Street was this identity that we threw on a lot of people. Oh, they're greedy, the greedy capitalists. Oh, these people. Okay, the greedy capitalists and the blue collar folks that are from the 80s are what's holding this country together right now. This is why I'm telling you 1980s culture is cash. That's why their Stranger Things is making all this money. That's why all these shows that are so much older are making money, right? So Daily Wire, they tried to cancel the girl from Disneyland. Now, I thought they canceled her, just being honest, because she had gained weight. And if you're a woman, you can't gain 40 pounds and keep the 40 pounds, like without some kind of like in the show them writing you had a pregnancy or something. And we all know that, right? She knew that. I feel like she tried to play it up like, you're counseling me for my thoughts and my politicals. And it's like, boo boo, no, you gained 40 pounds. Like you look like you had a baby and came back the next year on the show. I was like, damn, did she have a baby or what? That's the nature of Hollywood. You can't be a certain weight. You already know that, right? The average person is chubby, period. I don't care how many people come here like, I bicycle every day, I jog every day. Goodbye. The numbers don't support it. It don't support it. Average person looks like they got a little bit extra weight on them and they'll be okay. And so when she got canceled, Daily Wire had enough money to go, hey, we'll film a movie. You put you together. Movie sales crazy. Streaming's crazy. Top Gun streaming crazy. Go on Netflix. All these old 1980s themed shoot 'em up movies, old cowboy style movies are making killer money. People like what they like. If you cannot, and here's a big thing on music, go on Eventbrite. I tell y'all this all the time in my classes. Please go on Eventbrite and look at the events that are being put out here. Look at the older artists that are being put out here. They're the people who can put people in the seat. They're the old showmen. They know how to put on a show, etc., etc. Stevie Wonder, all these people, all these young rappers, a bunch of them getting shot and all this crazy stuff. They cannot even fill up a nightclub. They can't. They have to keep canceling shows. They cannot get people to the show. They're making music for 18 to 24 years old, and they have no money. They have no money. They can't fill up the show with those people. They will not come out and see them. So when people sit here and try to argue with me about, well, Erica, the young, listen, I don't care. You can be as young as you want to be. But if you cannot fill up a music concert as an artist, you will not be around long. You still got the Barge brothers who were been drugs, off and on drugs for 20, 30 years, still filling out conferences. Shoot, if Luther Vandross was still here and didn't have that stroke, he'd still be selling out concerts. Patti LaBelle, Anita Baker, all these people sold out. I mean, I literally looked for Anita Baker. It's sold out. You could buy a ticket for $300 off somebody reselling it, but you're not gonna be able to get in the concert for less. It's the demographic with money. It matters, right? You're gonna start seeing people pivot so hard to conferences. Why? Because a lot of people in their 40s and 50s, like, I'll explain something to my mom. My aunt will explain it to her, and she'll be like on the computer, like, oh, I'm struggling. My other aunt will like, I'll just do it for you. And she's even older than her, but she works with computers every single day. My mom, you need her to get on the phone, she got it. You need her to type something up, she got it. But if you need her to go do some extra stuff on the computer, it's too much. Now, again, my mother had brain surgery. She's completely 100% fine in every other way, except when she gets on the computer, she's like, oh, I'm getting a little lost. I can't do it. And she's only 62, right? And so a lot of times what you got to understand is the people running these companies, when you try to go buy these businesses from people, they're doing everything paper style. They're doing everything with a written hand notebook. They're doing everything old school style. Like, hey, Erica, I wrote it down and I keep track of my accounting this way. I knew an accountant. She had a Porsche, had a little cane, park the Porsche, get out the Porsche, walk into the businesses, do the bookings because they did it by paper, and she would come do it on the computer for them. That's what she got paid to do. She was already 70, and she still was out there getting out her Porsche with her cane, going in there and putting all the stuff inside on making it digital. There will be lots of room for accountants like that who are going to physically stop by somebody's office area for 1 week, every week, or every other week. They will make money because you have a lot of people that own the businesses that aren't digital. This is why you had 60% of Black people businesses could not get the PPP loan. 60% of the Latino business could not get the PPP loan. They were older and they couldn't get it. And they were doing old style bookkeeping. They didn't know to put their stuff on QuickBooks. They didn't know to put it in the P&L. Like, they could get a P&L. They had to call their accountant to come do it. But that's why I keep telling y'all the 1980s culture, it ruled, because a lot of these people are business owners. A lot of these young people that need to be creating service businesses and taking over plumbing and taking over apprenticeships, they will do it. But when times get hard, give it another year and a half, and all of a sudden you can start seeing all these Gen Zers learning how to plumb and learning how to get on roofs and learn how to do all this stuff, real manual labor, because they ain't got no choice. Disney's the king of predator cult. Is the king of a lot of stuff. I mean, it is the some of those people, the teenagers are the best years of their life, and that's all they focus on. They keep talking to you about 15 to 20 over and over again. You're like, baby, you 45. What? You didn't have good 30s? You ain't had good 40s? You need to stop, get off this computer, and go plan you a trip somewhere. Go to anywhere. It's sad what you're seeing out here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Chris Hansen needs to do a lot of stuff. The woke boom is fizzling. It's fizzling. 50-year-olds were failures. Damn, yeah. I know. Yeah, the CPM for YouTube channels, which are watched by older demographic, pays more. It does. Listen, the homesteading channels, the build the house channels, the fishing channels, the adventure channels, paying way more. You see, Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin and them are freaking out because their CPMs are dropping like a weight. All these companies are pulling their money off YouTube. Now, they're not throwing their money on TikTok. Some of them are, but not many. A lot of them are doing micro-influencers. A lot of the micro-influencers are complaining that, hey, some of my sponsors dropped, or they want to do it for real cheap, and I got to be paid. Baby, you better lean into it. Ty Lopez, one of the first to pivot. Gary Vee became rich selling wine to financially stable people. People forget that. Gary Vee had the original email list. Newsletter. Hey, we have this really great wine. You should check it out. And older people would open the email and be like, oh, let's check this wine out, honey. And they would ship it. So Gary Vee's daddy can always thank Gary Vee for the wine list and the making the show. But at the end of the day, it was the older financial stable people buying. Ty Lopez, what did he do? He bought Dress Barn. What's the other one? A real old sports show. It's like it was before Dick's Sporting Good, whatever that one was. And he bought them. And so people see those old brand names, Dress Barn. You have so many ladies who love Dress Barn. And all they're doing is having the digital website, right? So they don't own 100% of the rights, but they own the rights to have like the website and all these SKUs online. And so people who are older women, older men, they're finally getting on the computer. They really love that brand, Dress Barn, and it meant clothes for older women. They're going to go in there and buy stuff. Get it shipped to their house. This is a move. This is just a move, y'all. I want y'all to understand. Ty Lopez also did a great thing when he talked about beef and farms. Yeah, I'm from North Carolina. Basically, he used to live in a trailer in North Carolina. And he's like, yeah, I'm from North Carolina, and I always wish to have a farm. Anybody who's been poor in a state where you realize the farmers have the big money, the big farmers have the big money, not the struggling farmers, but the big farmers, you always want to go, I need a farm. Even now, I'm like, I need to go buy a farm in North Carolina. Like I'm like that pressure of thinking I need a blueberry farm, some kind of farm. I need it because that's real long-term money, right? There's two Black actresses. They were showing a picture from their farm, and people are like, "Oh, where they been?" Actors and actresses are usually unemployed. That's what people don't understand. The average actor and actress are unemployed for a majority of their career. If they do a TV commercial that gives them $50K, they do something that gives them a lump sum of money, great. But 9 times out of 10, they're unemployed. So super smart. She has a barn. No, duh. Like, you know what I mean? Again, there's the girl that was anyway, there's a girl that's on the show, but she moved back to Mississippi to take care of her mom. And everybody's like, oh, she moved to Mississippi. She can't act no more because she's so far away from casting. Well, they call her when they want to bring her out. Rock Johnson has a 450-acre farm in Alabama. That's where his wife and his kids stay on. They travel with him for some stuff, but mostly she stays there. Erica, have you seen the new generation of builder homes? Great investment real estate market is 2 in 1. Yeah. I bought my first diabetic chest strip today. Congratulations. Walk Street, greed is good. I still watch old Westerners. Yeah. 50 Cent is doing a kill. Listen, 50 Cent is doing a bunch of, this thing is so hot. Y'all already know what's happening. The phone's getting too damn hot. 50 Cent is doing a bunch of shows about 1980s, 1990s drug culture that we knew destroyed lives, destroyed careers, destroyed homes. But we look at the glamour, the haircuts, the dressing, how they dress. Look how cool they dress, y'all. And all that stuff it doesn't mean shit to me, but my brother who's 8 years older, my cousins who are older than me, they think that's great. New Edition has a residency. Yeah. Also, look, Robert Glasper. Y'all know I'm obsessed with him because he mixes that jazz with that hip hop culture from the 90s, 2000s, new soul. And Bilal, who got really done dirty by his music company, they finally released his music to him, but 8 years later, after he'd already kind of been out the business, but he never stopped performing. And so Robert Glasper and people like that, they got on that new Ryan Leslie, make your own music, perform, record your stuff, sell it live, do the shows. Because that's what they really love, doing the shows live. So I, for a year, wanted to go to New York, but because the jab and the rules, I was like, I'm not doing it. Robert Glasper and them have strategically have jazz / rap / music concerts. They had one in Miami, completely sold out in 24 hours. Then they did one in Napa, California. I want to go. I can't go because it's completely sold out. And they only have one new day available, and it's $450 to go. You want to get the whole package, VIP every day? It's $1,500 every single day. So 5,500 times 3 is what? 4,500. Now you're gonna say, who could spend this money? Business owners, people that want to see Shaka Khan, Maxwell, Bilal. I mean, he's got, you name it, up there. Like 50 artists coming through and sing songs, do stuff, go out, rotate another artist. Him up there playing the piano, rotate different artists. And that's what you're gonna start seeing. You're gonna start seeing where they only do 4 major summer concerts, and they're big and they're huge, but you're only gonna get 4, and they're gonna be expensive as hell. And they know people with who are 40s and 50s and have money that will pay, will come. Because, honey, when I saw it, I said, man, if they'd have told me this a week earlier, before I paid for that eviction and these houses and these different things to get repaired, I would have paid it right out of my pocket, $1,500 each day, because it is all day long. Music, wine, you name it, Shaka Khan, every artist you can think of, Maxwell. I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but literally, I can sit and hold it on the throne. But I mean, you know it, you name it, who's going to be there, right? Anita Baker's conferences sold out. Literally, you're gonna start seeing people. what's happening? Masculine men are making a comeback. Again, the pendulum always swings left to right. So I always tell people, I drive my mom and my older aunts crazy because I'm like, oh, I'm not strong. I'm not a strong black woman. No, honey, save me, take care of me, right? My family, it drives them crazy. My uncles laugh because they think it's hilarious because they've watched that 80s and 90s women doing it for themselves, women doing everything. Listen, honey. I meet a man with a farm out in North Carolina, I will move. It's not that serious. The other day I was talking to this dude, I'm like, hey, baby, I'm free to move. All this can be done virtually. Almost everything can be done virtually. Flipping houses, building houses, doing stuff. Even where I'm going now, trying to double down in this one city and get all these land lots, all 10 of them, is because I have a masculine friend who lives there. He's just got married. He's moved there with his wife, and he's like, I need stuff to do in this city. And I'm like, oh, I got something for you. And I know he'll go out there, and the Hispanics won't give him trouble. Nobody will give him trouble, though, because he's an old country masculine dude. And he's not that old, but like he doesn't take no shit. And so masculine men made a comeback, but they never really went away. It's like a circle. The pendulum swings back, right? So when all these men are like, women are terrible, ask that to the dude who's 50 and has got the Keith Sweat look, or the Kevin Samuels salt and pepper hair. He can pick some older ladies that act like they got sense. Other day I just saw 4 or 5 weddings from some of the dating gurus. All the women were in their 40s, men in their 40s, every single one of them. They love in the 40s. Again, the money is with the older demographic. When you got money, you're in a mental surplus. I put it in the email the other day. Your basics, your hierarchy of needs is food and shelter first. Then your second is job security. And then your third, if you go up on the hierarchy, is friends, family, dating. Second is like your self-esteem. And then the first is like self-awareness. What is my long-term plan? And you'll see this with men and women. They get enough money to go, oh, I can go on vacation. I can put nice plants in my house. I can put nice furniture in my house. I'm living a good life. Complete change. Now, what's happened, unfortunately, instead of that being in people's 20s, it's happening in their 30s and 40s. And that's where they have money. And that's where the marketing will go. Yes, listen. I mean, listen. Clayton, North Carolina, yeah, and Clayton, North Carolina's changed. They've actually built some stuff up there. NC actually does have the most trailers outside of that. Radio Shack, yeah, he bought that. You were speaking fair. Are you going to be doing a builder live that you had said? Oh, so I literally am not joking, y'all. I ran 2 miles yesterday, and I felt like a train had hit me. I was crawling back into my house. I literally showered, laid down. I was done until I went out to dinner later that night. So I will try to get Andy Buys Builds Houses back on. But feel free, like September 10th and 11th is our next boot camp. You'll want to be there. You'll want to be there. I mean, if you're also on the paid side of YouTube here, the subscription part, you'll see me show you how I'm buying these land lots for $400, $300, how people are going to be doing marketing. We'll go over it. But yeah, he'll be back on. I actually live in Clayton now, and I was shocked when I heard he was from here. Major amphitheater building here, East Coast. I'm telling you. I know. I love Texas. It's helped build me. It's helped make my life. It's helped make my career. But again, y'all, you got to realize long term, you have to make it make sense. There's like a really great wine. There's a bunch of wineries down south from here, Wimberley and Fredericksburg and all that stuff. If I found somebody who wanted to live even down there, I'd be like, let's go. I don't care. Because what you realize is long term, they got another pandemic plan for us. I mean, I already showed y'all what Joe Biden said. Like, trust me, they're going to try to work y'all up into a frenzy of putting them masks back on and being scared and calling the kids out of school. And are there still people suffering from COVID? Yes. But is there been a massive waking awareness of people need to be taking vitamins, drinking water, detoxing their bodies, all that stuff? That's been happening 10x, right? The older population is like, all right, whatever, let's get back to work. I went to a restaurant down south, and I remember I first introduced to them. I never would have heard of them if it wasn't for an Instagram ad. And when I came in, I was like, oh, I saw it off the Instagram ad. The daughter was like, see, Dad, it worked. He's over there like, yeah, whatever. Now I went back to the place the other day. It was full of a bunch of working guys, summer construction crew people, and other lady eating Lebanese food. And I said, see, what happened is their father had the patience to keep going. He had the wherewithal to keep going, and they outlasted that. Now, do I think some of these business owners will have a second wherewithal? I don't know. I mean, I just watched the thing the other day with JT Pocket Watching where he said a dude spent $1 million in 2 months. Like, he illegally got the PPP and then spent $1 million in 2 months, which is insane. So if you have bad habits, I can throw $1 million at you and you will still do something reckless with the money. People that are, it's the youth versus experience, right? Because even as I watch the Old Man movie, some of the fighting he's doing, he's kicking people to the groin. He's hitting them in the groin, right? Most people be like, that's fighting dirty. But if you're older, you're going to use whatever is to your advantage. And so, yes, I would leave Texas. It's all good. Exactly. See, people don't understand this is why I'm telling you this whole, I'm looking for a city that's jumping, I'm looking for the party. That's only going to be 5 cities in the United States, if that. And you wouldn't want to live there full time. Las Vegas, they've already had predictions for Las Vegas to be really gray and old and a bunch of young brown people of all categories. Samoans, because that's like the Knife Island, Hawaiians, Hispanic. Like, they already have predictions for that city. Miami, you can't afford to live there, right? But you can afford to visit and party. New York City, hard to live there. You go there to party. Las Vegas, Nashville, Tennessee. I was telling somebody the other day about it, and they were like, what's that? I said, it's like Austin, but just Southern, right? Houston, Texas. Houston is a baby Atlanta, right? But it's so big, right? One person just moved there, and they're like, it's too big. They're leaving. Again, you have to really research cities before you move there, because you'll get there and be like, oh, this ain't it. This ain't it, right? And so for me, I know personally, if I'd have left from North Carolina to Houston, I'd have left in 3 months. I couldn't. It's too big. It's too big years ago. It's too big now. I like Austin because it's smaller. It just is what it is. I wouldn't have been able to make the connections or interact with the people I have if it wasn't for this. Now I can see myself moving to Nashville, Charlotte, Lake Norman with the water. Not Atlanta. No, sorry, no. I'm trying to think if there's one other place. No, that's it. Like, there's really no qualified cities for me other than Nashville, Austin, Houston. I would struggle. I mean, like the swampiness of the air there, and their air quality is bad. It's just really bad. The cars, the oil plants, the air quality is terrible in Houston. So like honestly, like, yes, can you make money in all these multiple cities? Sure, but they're not gonna be no jumping cities. They're gonna be cities like jumping. That's a party. It's lit. That's over for America. We're in a gray booming area. Will there be a ton of jazz festivals and outdoor family events? Yes. You know why? Because those people spend money. Churches don't invest in singles groups. Why? Because they'll do is they'll have a bunch of young ladies, a bunch of men will come through, a bunch of those people get married, and the ones that don't leave the church. It happens every couple of years at all churches. I told you when I first moved here to Austin, I went to a church, and I went to a bunch of churches, but I went to that one. I was like, oh my God, it had 250, maybe 300 young people. We're going two-stepping, we're going dancing, we're going tubing down the river. We're doing it all. We're going to sports events. We're doing stuff as groups. Eventually, half of them married, the other half disappeared with other churches. And the cycle repeats. This happens often. And this is why churches don't invest in singles. They invest in families. They invest in elderly care, widow care. I'm telling you, everything in our society is getting rubbed to gear. I'll compare it to Fayetteville, Fort Bragg. Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, everything that ever opens there is related to the military or related to 18 to 25-year-old men. It's always a bar with burgers and food. Over and over. Axe throwing. Different things. And because car washes, right? Because they know that 18-year-old is going to always wash that car over and over. If you have an area where they know, hey, listen, all I got is older families and older folks, they're going to make all the amenities to that. They're not going to make amenities to young people. They're not going to make a city jumping. They're not going to make a bunch of party stuff. That's not going to happen. Right? So I want you to understand it. Salt Lake City, Utah, I know it doesn't sound like it's a jumping place, but it's going to be because they've put their governor's petition for a lot of events to come there other than Las Vegas. So yeah, they're building up all these communities in Clayton. Mm-hmm. I know. Listen, I keep telling people, like, I know people don't believe it, but when I quoted the stat, and Kevin Samuels even quoted it too. There's a video. I could go back and find it. I would, but he literally was like, hey, 2019, 2020, the marriage license went through the roof. Now, we went and dug through the data. The marriage license were for people 35 to 55. 35 to 55. Now, you're going to be like, oh, no, man, no, these people ain't getting married. They are. They are. Once you have a job, you're making money, you got the pets. At some point, you're going to, hey, look, we're just going to be your special friend, Mr. Otis, your special friend age, or you're going to be like, let's go ahead and do this second marriage thing. Let's do this back in marriage life. Let's do this older life thing. Half those folks in some of those singles groups I went to, because they break them up. They go 20s to 30s and 30s to 40s. And those 40s just paired off and called it a day. I remember this one girl got married in a month. Met a dude, married him in a month. 26. He was 26 and he was 26 and she was 23. They weren't both versions, but you get what I'm saying. They in a month, done. Y'all gotta understand there's a lot of people in our society that they're gonna take what's the road that makes sense for them. If they don't fit out here partying and they're not a hardcore heavy go-getter, and I mean financially, they're gonna pair off early and be done with it. We have two people I know right now. They're moving over to Panama and one's moving to Belize. And when everybody asks them, why y'all moving there? Oh, it's just so stressful in America. You gotta work so hard. And you're like, you're lazy. And you want it to be cheap, but go live it. I want you to go live it so that you learn in the next 5 years, like, damn, we still gotta work hard. Your American dollar is powerful because it's a recession in Panama right now. But at the end of the day, you still gonna have to work. Oh man, this is how crazy this is, Just Taylor. 2005 and 2006 and 2007. I had over 30 friends move to Cary, get townhouses over there off that back road going towards Raleigh for $55,000 in 2006. My mom tried her hardest, and to this day, I can beat myself. She's like, look, I'm going to give you the down payment, the $3,000 builder thing down payment. Like, this is to get in there. Just bring your receipts of your job. And this is before, I mean, I was going to quit anyway. And that's when I went back to Fayetteville. But I was like, I don't know, Mom, I don't know. But if I'd have stayed, a whole different life. I'd have got roommates, I'd have did whatever. But their mortgage would have been $300, $400, $500, $500 max. 55,000 townhouses in Cary. You can't get a townhouse in Cary for less than 300,000. I'd have been a richer rich. But our parents tried to tell us. I mean, everybody keeps saying that's overpriced, but you got to realize people moving down from New York, other places, are going to be like, oh my God, I got a whole house. Most places in Raleigh area expensive now. Yeah. Greensboro been getting wild. Does your 100K move work in Colorado market? 100K play? It works in almost all market because you're spec construction. Like spec construction, there's nothing new about spec construction. You can look all over the internet for spec construction conversation. I really want y'all to understand. Spec construction is not like, we're not going out there building whole communities. You're like hopping into spots that are either in a neighborhood that's already half built, or you're off on a side road, or you're close to where they're doing a lot of new building. It's a whole system to it. Is the eviction still going on? I didn't go. I mean, I didn't go there. I literally didn't go on Tuesday. I didn't. I literally got several YouTubers, several classy climbers to go by, take pictures. I got the contractor to film the whole place. It was dirty. It looks like it stinks. Looked like it smells like cigarettes through the film. No, I didn't put it up there. Now I will go in front of the house and make a little TikTok or something, or an Instagram post, because there's two other people that just got their tenants evicted, and I'm gonna do a show with them. But yeah. Here's the thing. Where's it at? They're not sitting. A bunch of Northerners have drove up the prices down here, like Trump said. They're not sending it. You guys, 48% of all homes were bought. Okay, 48% of all homes. That means 1 in 2 were bought in the Southeast. So you can throw a dart anywhere in the Southeast. People were like, I got to go. I don't care what's going on. I got to go. So that's the thing. There, look, listen, that's what I loved about the show. It cracked me up. But the dude was like 70 years old. He's knee kicking. He's crotch kicking. He's kicking him in the balls. And the man's like, hey, man. like, dude, he's 70. He's not going to fair fight you. I have a friend who's 30. He was like, now I'm at an age where somebody tries to fight me, I'm going to bite him. I'm going to scratch him. And I was laughing. He's like, I'm older now. I'm crotchety. Listen, to me, Las Vegas and Phoenix never makes sense to me. The water condition. I'm sorry, if y'all got where y'all getting this water from? That's the only thing that blows my mind. Like the heat one, and also the water. There's not enough water. So I've never understood the Las Vegas move or the Arizona move. Honey, listen, I agree. Blue Ridge Mountains and the coast of Chile is where it's okay. Oh yeah. I mean, I used to be crazy for Chile in like 2004. I was supposed to go with a overseas group to go to Chile, and then I think that volcano acted up, and our school, East Carolina, was like, "Yeah, y'all not going." And I was like, "No, Chile," but I should try to go back. Houston, I call that place Nigerian Central. They up in there. Nigerians is all up in there. The Indian community has built the biggest cricket court in the whole United States. It's like 18 acres over there by Prairie View. At the end of the day, I want y'all to understand the money is not with young people or talking about young people or what do young people want to do. That's American secession. If you actually look at British BBC, UK, and all the best shows have 40 to 50-year-old actors, and they're the lead of the show and they make the show. That's starting to happen more in America, and I'm actually glad for it because the shows are better written and better quality. There's a show right now. It's called First Kill, which is so cheesy. It's on Netflix. And the storyline could be amazing if they focus more on the adults, right? The adults are in their 40s and the kids or teenagers are confused and their girls kissing. And I'm like, first of all, save that. Nobody wants to watch that. Like we get it. But nobody, like, I get it. You're trying to get the shock and awe, but you can actually save that and do the whole show about vampires and vampire hunters, and people would watch the show. So I will have a home in Nashville or Charlotte on the East Coast and one in Vegas by next year. Congratulations. To me, Vegas is always where we have vices. This country is full of vices. We will never be free of having a vice issue. Like, gotta drink, gotta party. There's got to be somewhere to turn up. And Vegas is just where we dump all that. But these millennials have figured out how to live in Atlanta. They're doing 6 months every. Yeah, that's basically what they're doing. They live, they're doing the snowbirding. Like, they live in the Airbnb over here. They do stuff like that. I'm in Miami now. One of our Uber drivers said the average rent is $3,000. There hasn't been a single meal under $50. It's not. It's not. And here's the thing. I was going to do a show on it the other day. Wall Street did. Part of Wall Street has this clause in it that if New York ever tries to act crazy or going to change their taxes real crazy, they have a button. Like, it's all internet now. They literally can hit this button, and by the end of the day, within 2 hours, I think within an hour, all transactions will be happening from Chicago's Wall Street Exchange and in New Jersey. So New York never really challenges Wall Street too much because they know we will hit the button and we will be out of here. And you cannot tax our transactions because they'll be somewhere else. So it's, you have the Citadel leaving Chicago, big money. And the reason they left it is they said their staff was transferring to all the other offices at record numbers. They were transferred to the Miami office, even the New York office. They were getting out of Dodge. They did not want to be in Chicago. So as much as Chicago has just beautiful architecture, the crime and the lack of opportunity, right? Nepotism works because it's about your own children. But also you got to realize, like, they have to figure it out. There you go. Listen, it's exactly. I'm so happy I don't do church single groups anymore. She is right. They want the singles to serve, but get no benefits. Yeah, they have no incentive to encourage or put the events together. They just want you serving the kids program because they somehow managed to get all these adults here. And at the church I was at, you had all these engineers with their wives, so they were awkward. They couldn't really serve the kids. But they had all these people who had 4 to 6 kids. They were just grateful to drop them kids off somewhere. It is very transitory. Exactly how my town is small: restaurant, box stores, churches, recreation activity for people that can afford leisure. It's a college town, but they cater to culture, not the young people. Bingo. Even the Golden Girls had boyfriends and got married on the show. The whole women can't get married. 25 minds said it's delusional. Sir, go outside. Listen, it's not even me saying it. Half the YouTubers that are in their 50s and saying this stuff, they're marrying 50-year-old women. They're marrying 40. If I could show y'all some of these IP addresses of these guys that hide their face and like half of them got kids and wives in the house and a fat white wife, you're like, dude, what are you talking about? Everybody knows your business. What you doing, bro? There's 2 guys got in a beef, and that one dude was like, I'll tell everybody out your business. I was in the email chain being nosy, like, oh my God, O'Shea, you see these emails? He's like, I see them. You stay out of it. But again, a lot of these people it's delusional. Go outside. That's not real life. 1990, man, he was doing did you have the high top fade, Terry? The box? Yeah, Rayford. Yeah, they've been buying up stuff in Rayford. Rayford used to be like, oh, girl, you live in Rayford? You live out there in the country? Lots of stuff. If you had the conference, you'll know, but go online, look it up. What is the future market for Rust Belt cities like Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and West Virginia? So honestly, self-made, that's a great question. What you have is, let me turn this off a little bit. Ooh, what you have is a bunch of folks who, if their mom still lives in that town, or they're just looking for the cheapest house they can find, I have friends who are in their 30s. They homeschool their kids. The military took them to St. Louis, which everybody was like, oh my God, St. Louis, you're going to be in danger for your life. They're like, no, we live in Bellevue, or this, yes, Bellevue, over here. And if you, I was talking to my friend and he was saying, girl, Bellevue is like going back in 20 years in history. And so what you start noticing is if you go to some of these smaller towns, they're like 20 years in the past. Killeen used to be like that. They just started getting new stores and malls. Like you go there and be like, is this 1995? What the hell's happening here? You couldn't understand why these towns were so behind the times, but they were. You know what I'm saying? So what's the future for those towns? Is older people making money. Like, let me put it this way. When I show y'all the stories where there's a multimillionaire and he goes back to this small hometown and then he starts putting things in his name and he starts cleaning up the town and everybody's like, oh my God, thank God he's here, you know, and they start bringing jobs there. That's what you'll see more of. You'll see a guy or girl, they might have a giant government contract and they put their headquarters in a small little town. So everybody in the town is like kissing their ass because they have the government contract. And then they just invest the money in the town and the town basically becomes their town. You'll see a lot of that going on. But a lot of those Rust Belt places, like Detroit, like Cleveland, for the rest of their life, they will be retrofitting that city to have less people. Ohio has billboards out here in Texas like, come back to Ohio. Ohio has billboards in South Carolina where they have, between South Carolina and North Carolina, where there's 100,000 medical staff personnel that relocated to North and South Carolina. I remember this girl said her mom, both her sisters, and one of her uncles moved all from Ohio. Moved all from Cleveland at the same time. Left. It was like, yeah, it's dead. We're out of here. Now, there was a moment where Cleveland was worse than Detroit, but Detroit has massive blight. Massive blight. Thank you. Exactly. If you're sociable, you know how to, like, right now I had one of my consulting calls and I really mentioned, I said, go on Eventbrite. I want you to go through all these. I want you to start just booking yourself up with events, go out of your house, yada, yada, yada. I got a 45-day kind of response email and they got a girlfriend already. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he went out of his house, went to like 12 events. He already found a woman he talked to. He's happy. He's already on his way. You got to realize a lot of these people, they want a little bit of change, but not too much change. Right? When people start saying, I want to start a business, I want to do this, they want a little bit of change. They really don't want a whole life change that a business brings. You know what I'm saying? I just heard, listen, massive. It's massive. The dude making my shirt from scratch is in Houston. That's part. That's why I left in the 80s. Yeah. Social media definitely played a role in a shift that less focused on the youth. I mean, again, they every time I see 20-year-olds trying to tell somebody how in their 30s, 40s, 50s how to lose weight, I just laugh. That's why one of your biggest fitness channels is Over 40 Abs. Go look it up. It's a whole men channel. Listen, I live in Bellevue, Illinois. It's definitely 1999 with cell phones. I'm telling you, Big Pain, everybody I talk to, they ask me what's the future of some of these places. Don't worry, they'll be fine. They'll be like Ozark. They'll be some of these little small beach towns, lake towns. They'll be just fine. People still gonna find a way to go over there and eat at restaurants and do stuff. Now, when I'm here in Austin, I can tell a lot of stuff is closing at 8 o'clock. It's closing at 8 or 9 o'clock. It's done. It's closed. They close up the shop. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the bars are jumping. Downtown, 6th Street is jumping. Stuff is jumping. Right now, also, too, all the food trucks are closed during the daytime. Why? It's hot as hell. And nobody was sitting inside no hot box at 110 degrees outside. And you got the heat blowing up in there? No, they ain't doing it. They open at night. You also have the college students not here right now. I'm telling you, I hate that. I be on my family's so rude. I be doing a live and they be calling me and doing all kinds of stuff. Cleveland is great for cheaper housing. You won't get rapid appreciation, but you get steady cash flow. I mean, you get cash flow, but everything's not cash flow. Yeah, East St. Louis is one of the most dangerous cities in it. There was a Tuskegee airman that drove from Alabama to go see his daughter in Alabama. Why? I don't understand. Why he didn't fly? I don't understand. He drove. First dude's kid carjacked him, took his car, drove off. Second dudes robbed him of his wallet. And then finally a third set of dudes were like, what's happening to this man? This man was 92 years old, y'all. He survived the Germans and flying planes as a freaking Tuskegee airman. He survived racism in the South. And yeah, he goes to St. Louis, and then one day they carjack him, beat him up, take his wallet, and then they literally, the police are like, this is insane. This is insane. 92? Y'all robbing 92-year-olds? Again, this is my biggest thing. Black thugs and criminals, they never go fight the police. They just gonna come fight you. Hence why we always have to be against them. They don't go fight crime and injustice. They ain't protesting at the White House, but they gonna come rob your grandma. So, it is what it is. So anyway, that's what I have for y'all today. I'm out of here. Yeah, I mean, again today, like title loan places, all kind of stuff is happening. All kind of stuff is happening. I want y'all to understand, like, they gonna switch this economy up. They ain't even gonna care what people under 34 talking about. What you talking about? Be quiet. They don't care. They're gonna be focusing, and you're gonna see companies hire these older men to be managers. That's 50, 60. They on their second career because the consistency factor. They know they're gonna show up to work. They know they're gonna put in, do the hours. They know they know how to do stuff. They build relationships, not just money-based transactions. I've got 2 people right now that I know are 60, and they still talk. I still talk to them, and they're like, if you ever need help, like you want to build out something here, this real estate thing, I'll help you. I know they would. I just got to get all this other stuff closed down, finished out, and then the rest of the fall is travel and book touring on shows. So anyway, that's what I have for y'all today. This is why 1980s is the thriving point. 35 to 70 has all the money. The show we'll do later will show you on Austin how we have $50,000 house pricing drops, and I'll explain why. So anyways, you guys, this is your girl Erica, Classic Line Blog. You guys have been amazing. They don't want older managers, but they won't show up to work, so it don't really matter. You know what I mean? They don't want older managers, but they don't want to show up to work. So it is what it is. What's up, Urban Homesteader? Hope to see you in some of the private video chats we're going to be doing coming up soon on land. So, all right, you guys, this is your girl Erica, Classic Line Blog. We're 55 days away from the boat party. I want to see you. We got the 1-day tickets for just the winery. They're $150. I hope a lot of you come out that live close. If you're in the central Texas area, definitely do it. For those on the boat, we're going to be turned up. We're going to have great food provided by our caterer. She's doing both days. I think you guys are going to love it. So anyways, you guys, this is your girl Erica, Classic Line Blog. Later.